Hey everyone, I'm Madeline Dell, the Chapter Goddess. I'm a mom, author, blogger, freelancer, host, and overall creative. I really like to sit down and chat with authors and other creatives to hear what they add to the creative world in general. How do they bring their authentic selves to life in what they do? Our authenticity is important, especially in the world today. So sit back and relax and grab a cup of coffee, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's meet this episode's guest. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Book Chat. We're changing things up today, and we are on Zoom for a little bit because our computers have been a little bit wonky. I'm going to blame the winter storm coming in here in Oklahoma on my part. But I've got another fantastic guest for you guys to meet, and I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell us a little bit about her work.
Hi everyone, I'm Hannah Louise Smith and I'm the author of Awakening, first book here, and Darkness, books 1 and 2 of the Mythics and Mortals trilogy. I'm an indie author. I have a Siberian Husky called Logan and I like reading.
Yay! So I'm going to pick your brain a little bit because I was going through the blog portion, your questions and stuff. Go ahead and share with us where the inspiration for these stories came from.
Well, they just kind of came to me. Like, I'm a huge lover of ancient Greek mythology and didn't really think that there was much representation outside of like the Percy Jackson series. You've got Circe, you've got Song of Achilles, and I kind of wanted something a bit more like set in the modern day that was a little bit more adult. I mean, teens and like the younger generation can still sort of like read my books, but something that's sort of a little bit more like grown up wise.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, I just kind of had an idea and I ran with it.
Nice. I like it because I love finding books that are kind of like a retelling of mythological stories like that. And you said that one of the things were the web cartoons that inspired your stories a little bit.
Oh yeah, Lore Olympus is absolutely amazing because I sort of started reading it on webtoons and everything and I got really into it. I have the first 2 graphic novels and I'm waiting on, I think it's Illumicrate who I got them from, to release like the next 2 in the series, but honestly they are amazing.
Yeah,
but
they
I mean
are
the
really
graphics
good.
alone.
Yes, I love it. Like, because I haven't got to like dive into it as much, but I have read a little bit of it, and it's just they're so addicting.
Like I have to sort of like stop myself from buying the coins in order to read ahead. It's just like, no, it's my Sunday treat to actually read it on webtoons.
Yes, that's a good way to go about it. You pace yourself and you stick with the budget. So, when beginning your journey as an indie author, what did you find was the most challenging thing for you?
Oh, I would say definitely the formatting and editing. Like, even though I've still got 2 books out, it's like someone has sort of like flagged up 1 or 2 sort of like autocorrect issues. So now I've got to go through 2, like both books again. I'm working on a 3rd book separate from the Mythics and Mortals trilogy. And it's just trying to sort of like market yourself as well as avoiding all the pitfalls of being like a newly indie author, because like the amount of scammers out there that will say, oh yeah, I'll do this for your book, I'll like put your name out there and all that, and you're left with literally loads of money out of pocket. Luckily, I've been scammed twice and I've gotten the money back through PayPal. Thank God for PayPal. But it's just like, it's drama and stress that new authors don't actually need. I mean, it's hard enough getting published as it is without like being taken advantage of.
Yeah, I agree. And they're always like,
They're so pushy.
oh my gosh, yes. And they're like, no, I'm not interested. Like, leave it. Like, I've had to block a couple people because they got rude about it. And I'm like, I do not want to do this with you. Like,
Oh
nope.
yeah, especially on my Instagram. I mean, today I've had 2 people inbox me like, oh hi, I've looked at your book and I love it. I really want to like feature it on my page, all for like this amount. I'll do this, I'll do that. And I'm just like, no thank you. If people want to read and review my book, that's lovely, that's great.
Yes.
Wonderful, I love you guys for it. However, I don't want to like pay for services and then end up getting like a really crap review
Yes,
and stuff
yes.
like that, and I don't want to keep paying for stuff. Like, I already do my marketing, and it's just people that are constantly like, oh yeah, add me to your team, and I'm like, yeah, no, I already have people that sort of like put my name out there, so like trusted people.
Yeah, no, that's a huge thing because like somebody walked me through how to turn the filter on for like those people on Instagram, and that has been, I mean, it doesn't quite catch all of them, but it's
But the
got a lot of
majority
them.
sent to the
Yeah.
spam.
Because they're like, oh, hey, I want to read your book, review your book, but I want you to pay me to review your book. And you're like, no, you can go buy my book and read it. Or like, look,
Exactly.
Kindle Unlimited, it's there too. So,
Oh, exactly. And the people that are just, oh yeah, I really want to review your book. Can you send me a copy? And I said, well, my book is on Kindle Unlimited for people who actually like want to read it, like the options there. So I make like a little bit of money back from my books and people still read it. And it's just like, oh yeah, if you like send me X amount for like the review and like for a copy of your book. And I'm like, so I'm basically buying my own book. I might as well just do it myself, to be honest.
yeah, I have to agree. So, in creating the story, did you have a favorite like scene with your characters?
There are certain scenes in my books that it's just like I try not to get like too emotionally attached, otherwise I just end up crying. It's just in my second book I do kill off a character. Now this character isn't a major character, but her death sort of has a huge impact, and it's sort of she's really like the first casualty of like the war and everything that happens. And I did sort of find myself sort of sitting there tearing up as I'm typing, especially because you've got the scene at the hospital, and it's like, so you've got Eris's children are under attack. Christina, Sophie and Lucas, they get there, and it's just like one of Eris's daughters is lying on the floor. They get them all to the hospital, and it's just unfortunately one of Eris's daughters does die from her wounds because she's stabbed with the cursed knife. And I'm just there like I'm tearing up now, like as
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it, because I get so attached to these characters, and it's just like, oh my god. And God knows what I'm going to be in the third book, because there's going to be a huge sort of like battle for Olympus, and characters will be killed off, and
Yeah.
especially a fan favorite character. And I'm just there like, I'm a heartless monster. I don't know how George R. R. Martin does it. He just kills off characters left, right, and center.
Yeah, it definitely takes like a lot to get there, I have to say. And really with like you mentioning like crying and stuff for the scene, that's how you know it's realistic. Like it's gonna get your readers, you know, because I've had that same experience a few times and it sucks. And you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm like, this is gonna rip people's hearts out, but like it needs
yeah,
to
it's
happen.
like I want my characters to like make my readers cry a bit. That's kind of what I aim for like my characters. Like when the readers read the books, they're just like they put themselves in the shoes of the characters, and there is like a certain sense of realism. Like there's stuff in the books that it's just like I'm pretty sure people have either been through it or they know people that have been through it, and it's like it doesn't sort of outright say the issues, but it just like it hints towards them with a certain level of maturity, where it's just like you don't need to outright say it, but you can say just about enough of it.
And I'm curious, because you're doing this it's a modern day. What kind of world building did you do for your characters?
Well, I've sort of set it so you've got the mortal realm, which is our world, and then you've got the mythic realm, which basically is like exactly the same as the mortal realm, apart from like you've got sort of certain places like the collective where the mythics can sort of just like be themselves, like they don't have to wear gleams to hide anything, and they can just like be them. Like they can still go out into the mortal world with their gleams on. They can go to work. There are sort of like there are schools and everything. Like Eris's children, they go to like a school for mythic children, so there's kind of like it's sort of like both realms coexist, but the mythic realm is obviously hidden from the mortal realm. And it's sort of like it all works out really. They both coexist in the same space.
That's awesome. And that's I like that twist on it, because I feel like we need more of those. I haven't read very many books where it has put them like in the real world. Excuse me. Do you have a favorite character from that you've written?
Oh, I would say Christina Jones is definitely my favourite character in the Mythics and Mortals trilogy, because I do sort of base my main characters a little bit on myself. So it's like she loves her friends, she loves her family, she would do anything for them. And in my current work in progress called Gameplay, which is a epic fantasy novel based upon the popular role-playing game of Dungeons and Dragons, we've got my main character, Helen Sanderwood, who she's trying to find her brothers. Her brothers have basically disappeared from the face of the earth. No one remembers them but her. So she spent 6 months going out of her mind trying to find out what happened to them. Because one minute they were there, the next they're gone. And then she gets sucked into a portal and like thrown into the mythical realm of Esteroth. So it's like we've gone from like the Mythics and Mortals trilogy, where it's set in our world and everything, to Gameplay, which is completely different, and it's our world going into a different world. So, and I've got younger brothers and sisters, like really big family, and like it's kind of like Helena would basically do anything to find her brothers. Like she is literally going to the ends of the earth to find and save her brothers wherever they are, because like she doesn't know where they are. She doesn't actually know until I think it is chapter 5 that her brothers are even in Esteroth. So it's kind of like there's a certain level of strength that I want my main characters to have, and they've got to be strong female characters. Like you've got other characters in literature that it's kind of like they sort of start off really like weak and not really relatable, and then you've got my characters who are quite like they're strong personalities.
Yes, those are my kind of characters. I love strong female characters because I too, like, anything I've written has had strong female characters. It's just kind of like, it's just got to be there. And I was telling somebody, because I went to a convention over the weekends, like, when I was a kid, it was hard to find books with strong female characters. Like, it was always like the damsel in distress, and they always had to have the male come in and do it for them kind of stuff. I'm like, no, I don't like those books. I write the ones where we get to come in and kick butt. So
exactly, or where you have the strong female characters, but then you have the love triangles, and those will not be appearing in my books. No offense to any authors and like indie writers who actually use the love triangles, but I just think it's so overdone now. I mean, we've got Twilight, we've got the Hunger Games. We really don't need more. It's just like, if you're going to have a strong female character, then she needs to be strong. You don't need to sort of like dumb her down by having her constantly like be conflicted between like Edward and Jacob, Peter and Gale. There's none of that nonsense.
Because it can be frustrating because you're like, obviously, like they need to be with this one, but like, oh my gosh, I can totally go off on a tangent on that. So you're working on this series. Let's talk about what your plan is for your series.
Well, we have the third book, which I'm titling Goddess, that I plan on releasing in 2024, sorry, once I sort of have Gameplay done and out of the way. Gameplay is being released in October 2023, so please hoping that happens, but it just depends on timing. There will be, so we end the second book with a huge event happening, and Christina gets exiled from the mortal to the myth. I can't talk today, I really can't. From the mythic realm, and if she returns or is found trying to enter the mythic realm for any reason, then she'll be killed on sight. So it's like she's sort of struggling to deal with this, because it's like she's gone from being like thinking she's an orphan and she's completely on her own to having this whole system. She finds her parents, she finds friends, she's got this whole family and support. She has a life. But then it's like that's all sort of taken away from her by Zeus as punishment for something she did. She shouldn't have done it, but she did it for the greater good. She had to save her father and get that information she needed in order to do that. And so Christina comes back in the third book. I'm really excited on how I sort of do this, and things have absolutely gone to hell in the mythic realm. It's like the realm is split completely. You've got people who sort of are like for Zeus, people who are against Zeus. So the whole thing is sort of like fractured apart. You've got the threat of Oxilian, which is going stronger, and they're going to try to make a move on like the mythic realm and take over, and it's a whole thing. And there's going to be a huge battle. Characters are going to die, but I am planning on doing a prequel. And that's basically going to be my own retelling of how like Persephone and Hades met, because events are hinted in the first book really, and I think it is the first book, might be parts of the second book as well, on like events that happened well before Christina was born. They met at a party, and then like similar to what happened in Law of Olympus, you've got stuff happening with Apollo as well. Just to be clear, we all hate Apollo. Apollo is dirt. Literally, Apollo and Zeus are like enemies number one. So I'm going to explore that, and we'll go from like just before the party where Persephone and Hades meet, all the way up to Christina getting kidnapped. So there's quite sort of like a big thing there, and it's like how they deal with stuff like that. And you've got Demeter as well, Persephone's mother, and she isn't really a likable character in the first book.
She's honestly, I don't think, a likable character, even like in actual Greek mythology. And all this stuff I've seen written about Hades and Persephone, she's never played up as good anywhere either. So.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like Greek mythology is open to interpretation. I mean, we've got so many versions on like Persephone and Hades. It's like they meet, they fall in love, or he kidnaps her and stuff like that. And it's like, right, I'm gonna get them to like fall in love. I mean, Hades absolutely adores his wife, and I was sort of like inspired by Gomez and Morticia Adams. It's just like Gomez adores Morticia, like he would die for her, and that is what Hades would do for Persephone as well.
Yes, I like that look on it, because that I feel like he is that way too. So love it. So once you finish the series, do you have any ideas that you're going to dive straight into?
Oh God, I've got a whole notebook of ideas. It just depends really what order I want to do them in. So we've got gameplay that I'm working on. I have Interstellar Bride, which is going to be my first sort of sci-fi adventure that I'm quite looking forward to. That randomly just came to me. Damsel in Distress with another sort of strong female character. Shadow of Neverland. And I am sort of thinking about doing a book series. I'm not too sure of the order yet. Called The Grimm Chronicles, where you've got sort of strong female characters based off of the brothers Grimm's books. Yes. Sort of book would be like how each character sort of got to where they are, and how they actually became part of this group that sort of hunts evil and like fights all the evil in the world and stuff like that. And it's really good, actually. I don't know where my brain comes up with all this. It's
always a fun thought trying to figure out where the ideas come from, because I'm the same way. They just kind of come and you're like, I don't have enough time to get all of it down right now, but like I'll put that in the almost like I call it my brain, like there's a filing cabinet back here of ideas. Because if I write them down on paper, they end up in the most random places. So.
I just have the giant notebook. Let me just quickly grab the notebook. I'm currently using the Filofax as a stand for my laptop.
You're good. And at least it's in one notebook. I mean, that is good. I can never find like the same notebook when I have the idea.
We have the glittery out notebook. I absolutely hate the glitter, but I love the notebook. But I've got so many ideas, and like it's really quite fun, and I sort of like have a plan of how I'm going to set everything out.
I like that. That's a good like concept to use. You have one notebook where you're keeping it all. That's good. So do you find, because you mentioned in the document that you like to write it all out first and then type it up as you go. Do you find that it actually gives you a chance to catch more of like your errors and stuff? Like if you have any like almost like plot holes and stuff when you do that?
Oh, definitely. I write it all down, and I kind of just like vomit it out on the page. Once I go with it, I've got my headphones in and I'm just like scribbling like a crazy person. Half the time, like future me's just like, what the hell did past me write? Past me, what are you doing here? And I'll sort of like, I'll type it up, and then after 5 chapters, I'll stop typing, I'll edit, and then I'll sort of just like carry on through that, and then do the audio run through, and then now I'm doing even more editing to catch those 1 or 2 little loopholes.
Yes, editing requires so much. Oh my gosh, it's like never ending. I feel like
the editing and the formatting. Like I've only just now managed to fix an issue in Awakening, like a formatting issue that has been bugging me since I actually created it, and it's just like I had no idea how to fix it. I managed to fix it yesterday morning, and I'm just like, yes.
Oh my gosh, yes. Like, and it's not exactly cheap to have somebody format your book for you, because I went through and had to teach myself how to format my own books with using Adobe InDesign, I think. And
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it makes you want to pull your hair out trying to figure that stuff out, even in Microsoft Word. Like,
Oh yeah, with Word, Kindle Create as well. I sort of had to teach myself how to use Kindle Create because it is just like, it's so expensive, and I don't really want to run the risk of giving my manuscript to someone and then they end up turning around and like stealing my work, because that did actually happen to someone that I know. She
yeah.
well, it wasn't really like formatting, but it was a like beta reader. So she sent her
Oh,
manuscript to this beta reader who said that she'd read it, and then the next thing you know, her book's available on Amazon. So she managed to like get everything taken down, all the royalties reverted back to her, and the whole thing managed to get fixed. But it's just like, it is that extra level of like wariness for
wow.
all of like us self-published authors. And I did have someone that I was talking to, I think it was on Instagram, who messaged me saying that, oh, like someone had stolen my work because she read it on like a pirated site and everything like that. So I'm just there freaking out like, oh, can you tell me the name of the story, what's the
Yeah.
website, let me have a look and see. And I said, when did you exactly read this? And it turned out that the woman was basically lying to me in order to like get free advice. I would have helped her, like given her any advice that
Yeah.
she needed from one author to another. But it's just
Mhm.
like, she lied about my work being pirated because she said, oh yeah, I read it like 2 years ago on this site. And I'm like, yeah, my book was published in February last year, so like I deleted and blocked her. I reported her and I said, I don't need that type of drama.
No, and that, oh my gosh, the stress and stuff that comes from that is ridiculous. Like the hoops we have to jump through to make sure our stuff does not get like like anything, like any people stealing it. It's just,
Exactly.
yeah.
Like I sort of like, I try once a month to just sort of like do a search of like my two books or like my name and see what comes up, because
Mhm.
more often than not someone has sort of tried to pirate it and put it on somewhere else. I think it was last month
Mhm.
I caught someone who they had downloaded my ebook, not my ebook, my audiobook for Awakening. It's the only one that I actually have on audio,
Mhm.
and they basically illegally put it onto SoundCloud or something. So I sort of went through that, and
Wow.
yeah, so I managed to get it removed. I reported them. I basically said to SoundCloud, if you do not help me, like I am the owner of like this audiobook, then I will get legal action involved and I will basically
Yeah.
sue you because this is theft of my property if you don't help me.
Mhm.
And like they took it down and they emailed and said, oh, we're so sorry, we'll review everyone's guidelines and what they've got on there. So luckily that all managed to get fixed, but it's just like, come on guys, we're self-published authors, we don't make that much
Yeah.
money, we're
We
doing it
don't,
all on our own, please don't make our job harder.
for real. Like, oh my gosh. That gives me like that makes my heart race just thinking about it. Holy cow.
I
Um,
was just sort of more angry than anything because it wasn't just like I didn't record the audiobook.
mhm.
My good friend Ronnie did, and it's just
Mhm.
like, you're not just stealing my work, you're stealing his hard work
Yeah.
as well. And like people who do like audiobooks and everything, they have to make a living too. So why are you pirating like their work as well?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no, sorry.
It is
Cat's trying to
absolutely
get my
horrible.
food. Whatever. I'm gonna change gears a little bit. What do you do for self-care with the way you've got your writing schedule and everything going, and with the world being like it is? How do you take care of your mental health?
I take some time out. I work out, so I'll go on the treadmill for half an hour. And for some reason, like I can read on the treadmill or listen to audiobooks on the treadmill. But if I sit on a bus, I get motion sick because I'm a little weird like that.
Yeah, no, I
Um,
feel that. I get motion sickness bad. So
I have one of those TikTok like hoops where you sort of like you spin it and everything, and that is really good. I lost 2 links since buying it since December, so that's great. And I try to take that little bit of time out where I read a book, I'll drink some tea, I'll watch some TV, and like on a Saturday night, face mask, hot bubble bath, and I just sort of like relax, and I don't have to think about work or like any of my books or anything like that. It's just a little bit of time to chill, but sometimes it does get hard
mhm.
because you sort of find that you don't really have time to do much now between work and
Yeah.
writing and trying to fit everything in.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel that. That's why I like to bring up the topic of self-care, because like, oh, the amount of time us like indie authors put into our work, into marketing and everything, like people don't realize how much is required of us that goes into that. And I have a friend that picks on me all the time. He's like, "You don't ever take a break." It's like, I can't. Like, if I don't push it, who's gonna do it? Like, who's gonna put my work out there? Who's gonna write my books for me? It's me.
Exactly, like if we don't do it, no one else will. Like that's sort of one of the like cons of being a self-published author in like in comparison to actually like being like fully published by an agent. It's like you do it all yourself, and sometimes it does get a little bit too much.
Yeah.
And you do have to sort of like draw the line and try not to like let it get on top of you a bit, otherwise you just sort of you burn out and you don't actually do anything. You just sort of sit there, and sometimes you just feel this overwhelming, crushing feeling of being an absolute failure, because I'll just sort of be like, oh, no one's like read my books for a week, oh god, like what am I doing wrong?
Yeah. That's okay. Great thought. So let's talk about the main character in your story some more. Who are they? What is their backstory?
Well, we've got Christina Jones. She's 21, and on her 21st birthday, she's chased by a demon through the streets of London, and that sort of kicks off the whole of like the Mythics and Mortals trilogy and all of the events. It's like, so she thinks she's just a normal, regular person, but it turns out she is a ancient Greek goddess whose parents are Hades and Persephone, and so we've got sort of like her trying to navigate that, because she thought that she was just an abandoned orphan who was like just casually left in the middle of nowhere as a child. So it's like she's gone from having absolutely no one to like this whole support system with her parents, and it is a little bit weird for her. You've got her best friends Sophie and Lucas. Sophie is a witch and she has a huge family, and we do get like little bits and pieces of her family and stuff. I mean, you've got her grandmother who is like the head of the like biggest coven in the country, and everyone goes to them for advice, and we do see like a little bit of grandma, but occasionally she will be visiting in the third book, which I'm quite excited for. And Lucas is a demon. Now his backstory is a little bit more complicated, especially because there is a huge plot twist surrounding him and his parentage in the second book. So all is revealed, and it's kind of like we go from simply 0 to like 100 when it comes to Lucas, and we do have the slow burn of romance between Christina and Lucas.
Yeah.
And it's really good, because I don't really like straight in your face romances. It's just like if it's slow burn and drawn out, it means a lot more.
I like it. Sweet. And then you said Christine was your favorite out of those, right? Earlier.
Oh yeah, it's like she is such a strong character, and she doesn't take nonsense. It's like she will do anything to protect her friends and family, even if it means running headfirst into danger. She will do it because she knows it's the right thing to do. And there is, towards the end of book 2, she basically goes and confronts like you've got the witch Carpathia and another demon, Creolus, who basically they've kidnapped these 3 mythic women. So they left a message. There's a whole scene. I don't really want to like get too into it, otherwise I'll be rambling forever and I'll give away loads of spoilers. But Christina basically, against all advice from everyone, she sort of sneaks out in the middle of the night, and Ares does back her up and has like teams ready to support her and like swoop in when she needs the help. And she's just like, right, I'm going through this quarter door, I'm saving Verin and these 2 other women, I am getting this done, like this ends tonight, because she doesn't want any more blood on her hands. She feels personally responsible. Like every single time Auxilian kill people, like Christina feels it, because it's just like, I could have stopped this, like these people are dead because of me.
Wow. So we are reaching the end of our time. Go ahead and tell our listeners and viewers where they can find you and find these wonderful books.
Well, my books are on Amazon solely, but I do have my first 2 books available in the Book Dragon, which is a independent bookshop on Stockton-on-Tees. Right now, they're currently sitting in the back of the box while I actually sort out the errors and stuff. So I will be sending the Book Dragon brand new copies once I've managed to fix everything with these ones. Massive oversight on my part. Curse autocorrect on Word, it's a nightmare. I do have plans to have Darkness turned into an audio book in March, so I need to talk to my friend Ronnie about that. You can find me, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I am on TikTok, mostly just like sort of snippets of my books here and there. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. You can basically just find me anywhere. So if you guys want to drop me a line or just like yell about my books and read them and just be like, oh my god, I have so many questions and stuff, like it is quite funny because I do have people who have read my first and second book just like, oh my god, like what's happening in your third book, please give me a little bit, and I'm like, we can't talk about it, just
no spoilers.
Like, spoilers.
Yes.
Honestly, like that is what people used to call me, because I would watch something or I'd read a book and I'd naturally assume that everyone else has read it. So I'll be talking to my dad, say about like an episode of The Walking Dead, and I'll be like, oh yeah, so and so does this, and my dad's like, I have not watched it yet. So I'm just like, that would be my superpower. I am the super villain spoiler.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Oh, it's all right. It was actually really fun. I do love doing interviews and stuff, and I just sort of ramble and go on a tangent a bit.
Yes, that's the best, though. Hey guys, me again. Thank you for watching the show. I hope you enjoyed the book chat and everything we talked about. If you'd like to check out some of my work, you can find the link to my website below, or you can reach out to me through my website to be on the show yourself. Also, don't forget to check out the featured creatives' work. I super appreciate them taking time out of their day to be on the show. And also, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. We've got many new things coming in the future. So once again, thanks for watching. See you soon.